Hi, and welcome to episode 11 of the Dittmer Knittery podcast. I'm Bev, and you can find me and Dittmer Knittery on the internet, right here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Etsy, and I also have a blog called Fiber of Being, and the things I talk about will be down in my description box. You can take a look there, and if I do mention something that I don't provide a link for, just let me know and I'll see if I can find that link for you. So today I'm going to talk about crochet, and what I'm going to talk about is why crochet, why I, a knitter, someone who has the Dittmer Knittery podcast and is identified across all social media and among friends and family as Dittmer Knittery and the knitter, why am I crocheting? And so I'm going to talk about that. And I'll share a little bit of my fiber story to get started. I'm sure you've heard some of it before. Maybe you have. Anyway, I think that fiber stories are something we're meant to share here. So I'm going to talk about that some. I started crafting probably when I was 10 or 12, started with embroidery and did crewel work. My mom kind of taught me, like she just said, here, try this. She really didn't give me a whole lot of guidance, but she was, supportive and encouraging and busy. So I really liked the crewel work was when I did some cross-stitch embroidery, but when I discovered a crewel work kit, embroidery with yarn, that really struck me. That stuck with me. And then as I became an adult, I did more crafting from time to time as I had time. I sewed. I did a lot of cross stitch. I tried quilting. I tried weaving. I tried beading. I tried just about any craft that I could put my hand to that was fiber related. And, I don't know that I always realized that I was interested in fiber art and textile art until the last few years when, of course, I began to hear those terms more as I created my own work. So I learned to crochet from my mom in probably 1988. And I learned thread crochet first because I insisted I wanted to make a doily, and my mother taught me. She was very patient. And then over the next 20 years, I made Afghans, piles of Afghans, doilies. I loved it. I loved to crochet. And while I still did a few of those other crafts, especially crewel embroidery from time to time, crewel work from time to time, most of the crafting I did was crochet for many, many years. And one day I will show you my previous crochet Afghans and other things that I've made in the past. But that would be way too much to show today with what else I would like to talk about. And then I'm going to say it was 2007. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I learned to knit. Now, I taught myself from a book. I taught myself from the Stitch and Bitch book. Pardon me. My aunt, who I was very close with, my mom's youngest sister, my aunt, had helped me get better at crochet, and she encouraged me to learn to knit, and she encouraged me to learn to knit continental, and I bought this book. She may have even mentioned the book, Stitch and Bitch, and I bought the book, and I taught myself to knit. Now, I wasn't very good at it for quite some time, and I needed some mentoring, and my aunt helped me, and I got better at it when I learned to fix my mistakes. To me, that's the key to knitting. I don't remember. Anyway, that's the key. That was the key to knitting for me, is learning to fix my mistakes, learning to pick up a drop stitch. When I got to lace knitting, putting in a lifeline, because I'm going to make a mistake and I'm going to need that lifeline. So I learned all those things. Pretty much self-taught knitting. And when I was learning to knit in 2007, 2008, 2009, if there was YouTube, I didn't know about it. I bought books and I bought patterns and just tackled the pattern and learned how to do it. And I early on thought I was a lot more skilled than I really was because I loved it so much and I was obsessed. I couldn't stop thinking about knitting, and I did. I just knitted all the time for 12, 14 years. I didn't crochet. And while I was not crocheting and not paying any attention to crochet, you, fiber artists, were creating amazing things from crochet. I cannot believe the things that I see. It is so eye-opening to see the beautiful crochet creations that fiber artists are creating, that you all are creating. I love every bit of it. But of course, me being a bag maker, any technique I see, I'm probably going to try to adapt it to making a bag. So when I look at things, that's what I think about. How can I learn that stitch? How can I learn that technique? And how can I incorporate it into what I want to do? What made me notice you crochet artists, what got my attention that there was something happening in the crochet world that I was unaware of, that I really, really needed to see, was a YouTube video about a yarn bombing in Italy. And I want to say I've seen videos of it from 2018, and I know it's taken place for, I believe it's taken place for several years, but I'm not sure because it is in Italy. The videos, the really good videos, may have English subtitles, but they're usually not in English at all. But it's crochet. I mean, it's your eyes that are having the great time taking in these views. And yes, you wish you could understand everything everyone was saying, but it's the crochet. And so watching this video of the yarn bombing in, I'm going to say the city name, and I'm not sure I'm going to say it right, Trivento, Trivento, this annual yarn bombing. And there is a video on YouTube that I'm going to link. It's about 30 minutes long. There will be a link in here, and it's just amazing. And this is the 2019 yarn bombing that you'll see the video for. The 2020 yarn bombing happened virtually, and I may have posted a few pictures of it on my Facebook, but I really didn't see a whole lot about it. But there is going to be a yarn bombing in Trivento this year, and I'll talk more about that at the end. But the reason I mentioned it here is because seeing that video a few years ago of this amazing artistic crochet made me think again that I wanted to pick up my crochet hook. And so in the last few months, because I have had time, I picked up my crochet hook and I made some market bags, mostly is what I crocheted. And you've seen a lot of those. And it was great fun, and it was a great way to reawaken my crochet skills, to get that crochet math back in my head, to remember the basics. But like I said, you have gone far beyond the basics, and I have so much to learn. I can't wait to start trying some of these things. I've tried to wait because I really want to do things well. You know, I made a mosaic sampler and I showed it to you, and I did end up, I repurposed the yarn. So I took that apart. I don't have my mosaic sampler anymore, but I realized that I could understand mosaic. I'm very hopeful about practicing that technique. And that's what I want to learn, these stitches that I'm seeing that I've never seen before, techniques that I've never seen before, mosaic. I have done Tunisian, but I've only done one Tunisian blanket many, many years ago, and it was just the one stitch. I didn't realize there was an array of Tunisian stitches. I would like to try freeform. And then I'd like to say this too. Back up just a little bit. When I started talking about crocheting again, I'd like to say this. I dropped crochet when I learned to knit. It was like crochet didn't even exist anymore. Sorry, my neighbor pulled up in the driveway. It was like crochet didn't even exist anymore. And then when I decided to crochet again and I got out my crochet hooks and my yarn and I began to crochet, crochet took me back. It was very forgiving. And you guys have welcomed me into the community. You know how much I appreciate that. And this has just been so much fun, refreshing my skills. And now I want to move on to the next step and learn more about crochet. I'm going to look at my notes for a minute to see if I forgot anything important. I think we're on track. So I looked at some books on the internet and I filled up my cart with Tunisian crochet hooks and Tunisian crochet books, $75, and then I decided not to buy. So I logged on to my local library and I requested, I think, about 20 books on crochet. Mosaic crochet, tapestry crochet, crochet, and some of them have started coming. And that's one reason I wanted to talk to you today, is I'd like to show you a few things out of these books that I've gotten from the library. Excuse me. I'm going to start with the book I like best. This is a UK book called Modern Crochet Bible. Has this giant, beautiful crochet hook on the front. And like I said, this is a UK book. It's written in UK terms, and it's lovely. It has beginning instructions. Now, beginning crochet instructions, and then it moves through quite a few techniques and has these beautiful photographs, and it covers just about everything I said I might be interested in. Mosaic. Beautiful. This is the book that I marked the most pages in, because I feel like this book, while the other books were, some of them were very good, this one touched on the subjects that I'm interested in. So I find it a good reference. And so far what I've read of it, the instructions were clear. It seems to be good not only to look at, but to use as a pattern book. The next thing I wanted to show you in here, look at this mandala. Surface crochet, beautiful techniques, beautiful colors. Embroidery. I continue to love embroidery, and like I said, I was very interested in crewel work. Remain interested in crewel work, and to me, embroidering with wool yarn, which is what crewel work is even more satisfying when you use wool yarn to do the crewel work on wool. So nice. And that's what I would do with this. I'm not sure what materials they're using, if that's acrylic or cotton, but of course I would probably use wool. Surface crochet. A llama. And if there were nothing else about this book to adore, there's a llama. freeform crochet, which it seems like you wouldn't have to have instructions to do something like that, but I sure do need help getting started, I think. Lovely, lovely. And a Mochila style bag, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a few minutes. Beautiful up close graphic, beautiful photographs, great reference. Modern Crochet Bible. And like I said, I got this from the library. I did not purchase it. I might, but I haven't. And then I have some books about tapestry crochet. Now, tapestry crochet uses floats. So that's one of the differences between it and, say, mosaic crochet and the Mochila bag technique that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And I'm expert on none of this. I'm learning. Learning is about one of my favorite things to do, and I love books, and I love crochet, and I love talking to you. This is Modern Tapestry Crochet. I believe this is a U.S. book. Yes. Interweave. I like this cowl on the front, landscape cowl. And there are lots of nice things in this book. I'm not going to show you, so like I said, I showed you a lot on the first book. And then these other books, I'm just going to show you one or two to give you an idea of the treats inside. Evergreen cowl. And see this nice clear photograph. And I think that helps so much to see how the product is supposed to look when it's finished. And then to have such a great graph. And I can read patterns and graphs, so that's very fortunate. I learned to crochet by reading patterns. And I do make up the bag patterns, but I haven't written anything up. We'll talk about that another time. More Tapestry Crochet, which Carol Ventura is the author on this one. I do have Tapestry Crochet on order from the library, but I haven't received it yet. I just received More Tapestry Crochet. And I couldn't decide what to show you in this book because it is such a beautiful, in-depth, well-written reference. Many of the photographs, okay, I did decide what to show you. I did decide to show you the first page because this is where she starts. The history of tapestry crochet. And I think the reason that I like this so much that she starts this way, and many books start this way as well, is to acknowledge and recognize that we crochet artists today did not invent this craft. And I believe, too, that even when I talk about new techniques that are new to me, techniques that appear to have been invented yesterday, may in fact have been invented yesterday, that they may in fact have been invented a long time ago and we're just rediscovering them. Like I said, she does a great job of giving us some historical references here. And then she includes things like graph paper for specific types of stitches, which I think is a beautiful detail touch. Great reference. I can't wait to see Tapestry Crochet. I think I'll look at this more after I get to see the first one and see where she begins. I have 3 more books laying here, and I think I'm only going to talk about one more. The other 2 were good, but not as good as these. And so maybe I'll mention them at the end, because of course you'll probably be curious, as I would if someone said that. I have books, I'm not going to show them to you. Of course, I'll mention them. So I said I was going to talk about the Mochila bags, which I have seen and been interested in, but I've never tried it. And I've heard the term Wayuu. Now, I watched a video to try to learn how to pronounce it, but I probably still won't pronounce it right. I think they were saying Wayuu. Mochila. Mochila, I feel pretty confident I'm saying correctly, but Wayuu, I'm not sure of. This is a beautiful book. Generous information, beautiful photographs, again, some history, and I'll show you just a couple of my favorite pages in here because I'm so impressed with the clarity of the instructions and the graphs. Look at that beautiful, beautiful up close. So helpful. And there again, more reference and a photo of the beautiful end product. Another one that's just stunning. Try to let you see as much as you can of that beautiful photograph. So yes, I would like to try this very much. I remembered what else I was going to say. The straps on these bags. Let me find one that shows the strap. Now that is another technique altogether. That strap. The strap. You can see it, the part of it that's on her arm, on her shoulder. That is an entirely different technique that they do cover in the back of this book, but it was more than I wanted to engage in. Involves the use of a drill or a mixer to twist these yarns tightly together and then weave them. So I don't think that's anything I'll be approaching anytime soon. If I make a bag like this, I'll use another technique to make the shoulder strap. I do have a mixer and a drill, but I don't think I'm up to trying twisting shoulder straps just yet. So the other two books I will mention briefly. This Leisure Arts publication, Encyclopedia of Crochet, very good. Nice big book with lots of good reference in it. But nothing that seemed to be out of the ordinary. Most of the things I had seen before, but still a great reference. I liked these little flowers. The pink and green. And what else did I mark in here? Oh, these leaves. Always like the crochet leaves. And then this one didn't impress me. It didn't impress me at all. I think it shows 2 or 3 different Tunisian stitches, and I was looking for a reference that would provide much more information than that. Tunisian crochet today. That one didn't do much for me. And I do have one more thing to talk about, and that is the 2021 Trivento yarn bombing. I will put the links down below. to the information where you and I and anyone who wants to participate can submit something for entry to the yarn bombing in Italy. And what they're calling for, and they give you a very simple pattern, you can do this. What they're calling for is to make eyes like these. These are crocheted eyes, and like I said, they provide the pattern. They tell you exactly what to do. I don't think it took me an hour to make one of these, and I will include the information. I'm going to mail mine to Italy tomorrow. It probably will cost me $35 to send it, but it has to arrive, I believe, by April. So I've gone ahead and made these, and I'm going to send them. I'm overly excited about it because I'm sure they already have entries they're showing on their Facebook page of people sending in eyes. So mine won't be anything extraordinary, except for, to me, that this connection of having seen the yarn bombing and then getting so excited about crochet again, it kind of ties things together for me. And I'm going to just go ahead and end this right here because I have talked for a long time. I've shown you a lot of things. I do hope you enjoy it, and contact me. You know I like that. I'll see you soon.